How to talk at home to yourself. Mia often felt a profound sense of isolation when it came to learning English. The textbooks seemed daunting, and real conversations felt impossibly far away. Her initial attempts at speaking were halting, filled with self-doubt and an acute fear of making mistakes. She yearned for fluency, a voice that could confidently express her thoughts and connect with others effortlessly. The journey ahead appeared incredibly challenging and full of uncertainty. One quiet evening, staring at her reflection, a peculiar idea sparked in her mind. What if she started talking to herself? It seemed unconventional, even a little silly, but desperation can often lead to innovative solutions. She decided to dedicate a specific time each day to simply speak aloud in English, no matter how awkward it initially felt. This was her first brave step into active practice. Her initial attempts at self-talk were hesitant, a stream of consciousness about her day, her plans, or even descriptions of objects in her room. "This is a lamp," she'd murmur. "It gives light." The sentences were simple, fragmented, but they were English words leaving her lips. She felt a strange mixture of embarrassment and empowerment during these private monologues, a new way of engaging. Slowly, Mia began to notice a difference. Talking at home to yourself became a powerful tool for building confidence and improving pronunciation without external judgment. She could experiment with different sentence structures, articulate thoughts, and even correct her own errors in real time. It was a safe, private laboratory for language acquisition, surprisingly effective for her progress. Her self-talk evolved. She started narrating her daily activities, practicing describing past events, and even debating hypothetical scenarios with herself. "If I won the lottery, I would travel the world," she'd declare. This imaginative approach made the practice less monotonous and more engaging, pushing her vocabulary and grammar boundaries further. She integrated English into her daily routines. While cooking, she'd describe the ingredients and steps. When getting dressed, she'd comment on colors and textures. This constant exposure, even if it was just her own voice, helped solidify new words and phrases in her memory, transforming mundane moments into valuable learning opportunities. Despite the progress with self-talk, Mia felt something was missing. Her vocabulary remained limited, and her understanding of complex sentence structures was rudimentary. It was then that she remembered advice from an online forum: the profound importance of reading. Reading, they said, was the cornerstone of true language mastery and deep comprehension. Mia started with simple English children's books and graded readers. The stories were engaging, the vocabulary manageable, and the grammar straightforward. She didn't pressure herself to understand every single word, focusing instead on grasping the main ideas and enjoying the narrative flow, a crucial step for building foundational literacy. The benefits of extensive reading became evident almost immediately. New words appeared repeatedly, helping her remember them naturally through context. Her comprehension improved dramatically, and she began to unconsciously absorb grammatical patterns. Reading provided a rich, immersive environment for her linguistic development, unlike any other method. Mia discovered the joy of reading for pleasure in English. She moved from children's books to young adult novels, then to more complex fiction that genuinely captivated her. This enjoyment fueled her motivation, making learning feel less like a chore and more like an exciting exploration of new worlds and ideas. Beyond vocabulary, Reading provided Mia with a wealth of topics for her self-talk and, eventually, for real conversations. She could discuss plot points, character development, and themes, enriching her ability to express opinions and engage in deeper discussions, transforming her passive knowledge into active communicative power. She realized that while memorizing word lists was helpful, encountering words in a natural context through reading was far more effective for long-term retention. The stories gave words life, attaching emotions and scenarios to them, making them stick in her mind much more readily than isolated definitions ever could. Despite her solo progress, Mia still hesitated when it came to talking to people in pairs or groups. The thought of real-time interaction, of instant responses and potential misunderstandings filled her with apprehension. She knew that to truly progress, she had to bridge this gap from private practice to public performance. She cautiously explored online language exchange platforms. After some searching, she found a friendly woman named Chloe, who was learning her native language and wanted to practice English. This discovery felt like a significant breakthrough, offering a low-pressure environment for her first real conversations. Their first few conversations were awkward, filled with pauses and fumbled words. Mia often found herself translating in her head before speaking, slowing down the flow considerably. Chloe was patient and encouraging, creating a supportive atmosphere where mistakes were seen as part of the learning process. They developed strategies for talking in pairs. They would choose a topic beforehand, like daily routines or favorite holidays, which helped Mia prepare some vocabulary. They also agreed to gently correct each other, focusing on common errors rather than interrupting every single mistake, fostering a productive exchange. Talking in pairs provided immediate feedback on her pronunciation and grammar that self-talk couldn't. It forced her to think on her feet, to respond spontaneously, and to negotiate meaning in real time. This interactive element was crucial for transforming her theoretical knowledge into practical communication skills. With each conversation, Mia's confidence grew. She started feeling less nervous about making mistakes and more focused on conveying her message effectively. The regular practice with Chloe normalized the act of speaking English, making it feel less like a performance and more like a natural part of her life. After several weeks of pair practice, Mia felt brave enough to join a small online English conversation group. This was a bigger leap, requiring her to follow multiple speakers and contribute more dynamically, but her earlier experiences had prepared her well for this next level of interaction. Mia realized that effective speaking wasn't just about output, it was equally about input. The ability to listen and understand was paramount for engaging in meaningful conversations. She consciously started to incorporate more English listening practice into her daily routine, beyond just her conversations. She began by listening to podcasts designed for English learners, focusing on topics she enjoyed. She would actively try to catch new vocabulary, identify sentence structures, and even imitate the speaker's intonation. This active approach made listening a dynamic learning experience, not just passive absorption of sounds. As her comprehension improved, Mia moved on to native speaker content, TED Talks, YouTube vlogs, and popular Netflix shows with English subtitles. She aimed to understand the overall context, gradually reducing her reliance on subtitles as her ear became more attuned to natural speech patterns. Mia observed a direct correlation between her listening practice and her speaking ability. The more she listened to natural English, the more effortlessly certain phrases and expressions came to her when she spoke. Her pronunciation also became more natural, mirroring the rhythm and stress she heard. She even practiced shadowing, repeating what she heard from podcasts or videos almost simultaneously. This technique significantly improved her pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm, making her speech sound more native-like and fluent, refining the auditory aspects of her English. Mia understood that English talking practice wasn't a single activity, but a continuous, multifaceted effort. It involved consistent exposure, active production, and constant refinement across different modes. Every interaction, every moment of self-reflection contributed to her fluency journey. She established a consistent routine: self-talk in the morning, reading during lunch, a language exchange session in the evening, and listening during her commute. This disciplined approach ensured that English was an integral part of her daily life, fostering steady, incremental progress over time. Mia learned to view mistakes not as failures, but as invaluable learning opportunities. Each error highlighted an area for improvement, prompting her to research, refine, and try again. This positive mindset was crucial for maintaining motivation and perseverance throughout her challenging learning process. Beyond structured practice, Mia actively created an immersive English environment at home. She changed her phone language to English, started watching news in English, and even listened to English music, subconsciously picking up new words and understanding cultural nuances. One persistent challenge for Mia was how to remember words effectively. She often felt overwhelmed by the sheer volume of new vocabulary she encountered daily. Flashcards were helpful, but she needed a more robust system for long-term retention and active recall. Mia discovered that simply memorizing definitions wasn't enough. She started writing down new words and example sentences, ensuring she understood their usage and context. This practice solidified the meaning and made it easier to recall the words during conversations or writing. She incorporated a spaced repetition system, SRS, application into her learning. This clever tool showed her words at optimal intervals, preventing her from forgetting them too quickly and ensuring that challenging words reappeared more frequently until they were truly mastered. Mia also found it helpful to connect new words to her existing knowledge. If she learned baffled, she might link it to confused or perplexed, creating a network of related terms. This semantic mapping aided recall and enriched her understanding of word nuances. Instead of passively reviewing words, Mia practiced active recall. She'd test herself by trying to define words without looking or by using them in impromptu sentences. This effortful retrieval strengthened the neural pathways associated with those words, making them readily accessible. Crucially, Mia realized the power of learning English through stories for vocabulary acquisition. Stories provided a natural, engaging context where words were not isolated units, but integral parts of a narrative, making their meanings vivid and memorable, deeply embedding them. Whether reading novels or listening to audiobooks, the consistent exposure to rich, descriptive language within a compelling plot helped Mia absorb vocabulary organically. The emotional connection to characters and events further reinforced the words, etching them into her long-term memory. Stories weren't just about single words. They were also a treasure trove of idiomatic expressions, phrasal verbs, and common collocations. Mia found that these natural language chunks were much easier to grasp and remember when encountered in a lively narrative rather than a dry list. To actively use new vocabulary, Mia started creating her own short stories or journal entries, incorporating the words she had learned. This creative application forced her to manipulate the words in different contexts, reinforcing their meaning and usage through her own unique narratives. Mia's journey taught her that learning English was not about mastering one method, but about embracing a holistic approach. Self-talk built confidence, reading expanded knowledge, paired conversations refined fluency, and listening sharpened comprehension. Each component played a vital role. She skillfully integrated all these elements. A new word from a book might become the subject of her self-talk, then be used in a conversation with Chloe, and finally recognized in a podcast. This seamless flow reinforced learning across multiple modalities. Mia found profound joy in the continuous learning process. Each small breakthrough, each new word remembered, each smoother conversation served as a powerful motivator to continue her dedicated efforts. The journey itself became rewarding and enriching, not just the destination. There were moments of plateau where progress seemed to stall. During these times, Mia revisited her foundational methods, perhaps switching to a new genre of book or finding a new conversation partner to inject fresh energy into her routine, skillfully navigating temporary setbacks. Her positive mindset was instrumental. Believing in her ability to learn and focusing on progress rather than perfection kept her going during challenging phases. She celebrated small victories, reinforcing her self-efficacy and commitment to achieving her language goals. Mia transformed into an autonomous learner, capable of identifying her own weaknesses and proactively seeking solutions. She wasn't waiting for a teacher or a textbook. She was actively shaping her learning path, demonstrating true independence in her linguistic development. Through her improved English, Mia began connecting with people from diverse backgrounds globally. Her conversations extended beyond language partners to forums, international communities, and even professional networks, broadening her horizons immensely and connecting her to the world. She no longer viewed English as just a subject to study, but as a powerful tool for communication, discovery, and personal growth. It opened doors to new information, cultures, and friendships, fundamentally changing her life and expanding her world exponentially. Inspired by her success, Mia started sharing her learning journey with others who were struggling. She advocated for the methods that worked for her, especially the often overlooked power of self-talk and the transformative impact of extensive reading, inspiring new learners. Her fluency had a ripple effect, improving her confidence in other areas of her life too. The discipline and perseverance cultivated during her English learning spilled over, making her more resilient and determined in facing different challenges, a truly empowering transformation. Mia understood that language learning was a lifelong journey. She continued to evolve her practice, seeking new resources, engaging in more complex discussions, and always looking for opportunities to refine her skills, ensuring sustained growth and mastery over time. What began as a hesitant whisper to herself transformed into fearless, fluent communication with people around the globe. Mia's story is a testament to the power of consistent effort, strategic practice, and the courage to step outside one's comfort zone, achieving remarkable fluency. The profound confidence Mia gained from mastering English permeated every aspect of her life. She could now articulate complex ideas, understand nuanced discussions, and engage authentically, realizing her dream of truly expressing herself without linguistic barriers holding her back. Her ultimate advice for new learners was simple: start speaking, even if it's just to yourself. Read everything you can get your hands on. Find a partner and practice regularly. Listen actively. And most importantly, enjoy the process, for that joy sustains the journey. The enduring impact of learning through stories remained a cornerstone of her success. They weren't merely entertainment. They were immersive language classrooms, teaching vocabulary, grammar, and cultural context in a way that dry textbooks never could, making learning vibrant. Mia's journey demonstrates that achieving a truly global voice is within reach for anyone dedicated to the process. It requires patience, diverse strategies, and an open mind. But the rewards of global connection and self-expression are immeasurable and profoundly enriching. Her journey, from a hesitant beginner to a confident English speaker, was the culmination of countless hours of self-talk, extensive reading, courageous pair practices, diligent listening, and smart vocabulary retention. Each step, though small, contributed to her impressive fluency. Mia, once quiet and self-conscious, now inspires others to embrace their English learning journey with enthusiasm and strategic practice. Her transformation is a beacon of hope, proving that with the right approach, anyone can unlock their English voice and communicate effectively.